Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video about my favorite drugstore brushes. I love drugstore brushes. I mean, I'm sure there are perks to having high-end fancy brushes, but as far as accessibility and price, I really just love drugstore brushes. So I'm just going to go through a few of my favorites really quick. I've kind of grouped them into categories, so we have like, well, I guess it's just face brushes and eye brushes, but you get the gist. So yeah, I'm just going to go through them real quick. I'm going to show you which ones are my favorite, kind of like explain how I use them, if it needs some explanation. And yeah, let's just get into it. So the first one I have here is the Real Techniques powder brush. And I've had this brush for a little while, and I only kind of just started using it for actual powder. It is a large powder brush. It is larger, it's very fluffy, very soft, and you really just get like a diffused layer of powder. So this isn't like for packing powder on, if that is what you're looking for. It's really just going to give you a nice diffused layer. So yeah, I've been using this one a lot lately just to set my face after I'm done putting on my foundation. The next one I had to mention is also from Real Techniques. A lot of these are from Real Techniques and E.L.F. Actually, I think all of them are from Real Techniques and E.L.F. except for two little honorable mentions I have at the end. But the next one is the Real Techniques blush brush. I used this for blush the other day, and honestly, I didn't really love it, but I did use it to set my face a lot. Before I was using this Real Techniques powder brush, I was using the blush brush because it is, I think it's a little big for blush, in my opinion. For me, I don't really like how big it is, but I do like it for powder. Again, it's nice and it's pretty large and it's fluffy, and it does have a good amount of taper down the sides, so the brush picks up a lot of product. Obviously, if you get too much, you can just tap it off, but you're not sort of like digging into product or try to like scoop any out, or it's just like coming out on the top of the brush. No, it picks up product along the whole entire side, which is really great. And this is big, like compared to my face, which is why I was using it to set my face with powder. So I love this brush. I use it all the time. Something from Real Techniques again, but it's not a brush, and I'm sure you can guess what it is. It is the Real Techniques sponge. Mine's a little dirty because I did use it this morning, but this is awesome. I actually used to apply my foundation only with like a buffing brush. I don't even know why. I just like was in the habit of doing it. And then I started using this for my concealer and I loved it. And then I started using it for my foundation and I loved it even more. And this is pretty much all I use now to apply my foundation. All I use is this sponge. So obviously it's one of my favorites because I use it all the time. Pretty much every time I do my makeup, like constantly. The next brush I have is the E.L.F. Complexion Brush. This brush is really awesome. So what I use it for personally is bronzer, but you could totally use it as like a powder brush. It is pretty large. It's pretty large again and fluffy. You could probably make it work as a blush brush. You could even use it for like a pretty diffused contour because down near the neck here, it is pinched in at the ferrule, so it's not really fluffy towards the bottom. And again, the side has a pretty nice taper. So it picks up a lot of product along the side of the brush, which is nice, again, if you want to set your face, or you could hold it like sort of like pinched in like this if you want to get like a more precise contour, or just leave it fluffy if you want to just more to glow up the skin with bronzer, which is the way I like to use it, but again, every day. I don't even have another bronzer brush. This is the only one that I use. And it's only $3, like, hello. Affordable. Always great. The next brush I have is also from E.L.F. and it is the small tapered brush. Now this brush, I know I've seen some people, they use it for like under eye setting powder because it does fit into like the little nook right there next to your eye pretty well. But I use this brush if I'm going to contour, like actually contour, not just bronzer, but like going with an actual contour powder and chisel out a cheekbone. So I'll dip it into whatever I'm contouring with, and it just, for me, just the right size just to get right under that cheekbone, but also not have a very harsh line. It's called the tapered brush, so it is tapered. You can see along the sides. Again, there's a nice gradient as far as like shorter bristles and then tapering up to the taller ones up here. And it just fits great, like right in the hollow of my cheek. It places the product exactly where I want it to go, but also blends it out in the process. So again, you're not ending up with like a huge crazy streak. And then I'll just sort of like in circular motions blend out my contour powder, and it's been great for that. Again, that's the only thing I use it for, and it's worked like a charm since I've gotten it. The next brush, also from E.L.F. Just there's a lot of E.L.F. stuff because it's so convenient to get and it's so cheap, and the brushes work so well for what I've been using them for, and I really haven't honestly really been disappointed by them. So The next e.l.f. brush is the small stipple brush, and I didn't get this until, you know what, I don't even remember. It had to have been less than a year ago, but mostly a lot of people were using it for cream products, and I don't really tend to use cream products a whole lot, but I'm trying to remember what I got. What did I get that I needed this for? I don't remember, but what I use it for now mostly is I have a cream highlight from NYX, and this is perfect with that. It doesn't pick up too much product, but it doesn't pick up no product. It just picks up the right amount of product, and to just tap it on the top of your cheeks because it has like, because it's a stipple brush, so it's not like very dense towards the very top. The bristles aren't like jam-packed. Like you can see there's quite a bit of space. It just places it so nicely so you don't have like globs sort of whatever kind of like cream product on your face, and it just blends it out very well, and I've really been liking this. I'm pretty sure I bought this because of the first person I watched on YouTube, EmilyNoel83. If you don't watch her channel, you should go look at it because she's fantastic, and I watch her channel like religiously. She talks about this all the time, and honestly that's why I bought it. But I haven't been disappointed by it, and I really like it, again, for cream products. The next one is from Real Techniques, back to Real Techniques, and it's their setting brush. I use this exactly for what it says. I use it to set my under eye because it just fits in that little cavern right in the corner of your eye. Perfect. So this is what I use to set my eyes. That's all I use it for. That is its purpose in my brush collection, and I use it all the time. The next couple are from E.L.F. And this is just their $1 eyeshadow brush. I think it's called, yeah, it's literally just called E.L.F. Professional Eyeshadow Brush. It's $1. I got it from Target, and I use it every time I do my makeup. If I'm wearing, most of the time I am wearing eyeshadow. If I'm wearing something just in the crease, then I won't use this, obviously. But if I'm wearing eyeshadow on my lid at all, this is the brush that I use. It works so well. It's just a normal flat shader brush. It's sort of like rounded at the top, but it picks up product so well. It's just, and it's $1. Like, it's $1, and I use it every day. So, well, maybe not every day. I don't do my makeup every day, but every day I do my makeup, I do use this brush. And you can't beat the fact that it's $1. It's just perfect for eyeshadow, powder eyeshadow. Use it for cream eyeshadow. That brush. The next one I have, also from E.L.F. This is the E.L.F. blending brush. Now this one is kind of awesome. Again, I bought this because of EmilyNoel83. She has a lot of E.L.F. brushes that she uses, or like she'll talk about, so this is again from her. Yeah, it's called the blending brush. So you can see it's kind of flat, but it also has this point at the top. So what I use it for basically is if I'm doing a one shadow look, it can place shadow all over the lid, but because it's pointed, it can also get right into your eye crease and blend things out because it is a little bit fluffier at the top, which I love. Like, it is one brush and you can do like an entire eye look with it. So it can pack shadows on the lid, and it can blend it up into the crease, and it could smudge under your eye even if you wanted, because it has that point at the top, which is awesome. This brush can serve many purposes, which I appreciate in a brush. But this eyeshadow brush is fabulous. It's fantastic. The next one is the E.L.F. Flawless Concealer Brush, and I don't use this for concealer, but I do use it bare with nothing on it to blend out my crease colors. Pretty much that's all I use it for, but again, it's $3 and it serves its purpose, and I love it. And again, like, I use it all the time. If there's a lot of blending that needs to happen and I really want to diffuse a color, then I'll reach for this. All right, the next two I'm going to talk about together because they're both the E.L.F. smudge brushes, but this one is like the $1 one with the white handle, and then this one would be the $3 one with the black handle. Now, the $1 one looks like the shadow brush, except it's just, pretty much it's just shorter. So it looks like that $1 shadow brush, except just a shorter version of it. It's domed at the top. Really good for smudging out the lower lash line. I would say maybe if you have like sensitive eyes or sensitive skin, you might not want to use this. It can feel scratchy sometimes, a little bit scratchy. That wouldn't bother me all the time, but it can be a little bit rough having these bristles so densely packed and like smudging under your eye. Sometimes it can be a little rough. So what I just got this quite recently, but I've been using it a lot. This is the $3 E.L.F. smudger brush from their like their black brushes collection. Why can't I ever remember what it's called? I don't even know. I can never remember what it's called. But this is this little tiny smudger brush. It's a little tiny one. It's much smaller than the other one. If I hold them side by side. There you go. See how much smaller it is than the other one? Much more precise. The bristles on this are a lot softer. I haven't had any trouble with it like scratching my skin like or feeling scratchy on my eye at all. And yes, it's much more precise. So if you really wanted like a darker color on the outside of the lower lash line or even like the top lash line, this would be perfect. And I've been using this to like smudge across the whole lower lash line, and it's been great. And the last of my favorite brushes that I wanted to talk about is this from Real Techniques. Again, they're all from Real Techniques, but you know, they're great. And it is the Lash Brow Groomer. Now this side I don't really use. Ignore the fact that this is dirty because I used it today and I need to wipe it off. I don't really use this side at all, but this is the side that is awesome. Actually, I'm going to show it to you close, so I'm going to go wipe this off. I'll be right back. This is the Real Techniques Lash Brow Groomer. Like I said, I don't really use this side, but this is the side that I love. So basically this is what it looks like. They're very fine tooth, it's a very fine tooth metal comb. And I use this to comb through my lower lashes. Now what I love about this is that some lash combs will have sort of like these pegs on the end or like these thicker pieces. A lot of times they're made out of plastic. Like the whole lash comb will be made out of plastic. And then on the ends, yeah, they'll have like these thicker pieces, which make it really hard to like comb through your lashes because those bigger pieces obviously aren't going through your lashes and they're just getting in the way. So I don't even know why they're there. This does not have that, and it's metal, and it's very fine, and they're kind of pointed at the top, so like obviously don't poke yourself in the eye. Be careful. But this is perfect to like comb through my lower lashes. So I'll put mascara on, and then if they're, you know, clumped together or anything, or there's like too much mascara and it's all clumpy, then I'll just comb through this and it separates my lower lashes perfectly. And I love it. And again, it's Real Techniques, so it's only a couple dollars. I was like $6 something. I'll link it down below, but this is yeah, like it's fabulous. Anything you're gonna buy that has like those pegs at the end, don't buy it. Just buy this one. It'll save you money and the hassle of trying to work with those other types of lash combs. So I'm done with the ones that I use every day and that you can find at the drugstore. These other ones, I'm gonna say they're honorable mentions. Now, one is from Target, so you can just get it at Target, and it is the Up and Up foundation buffing brush, something like that. Before I was using my Real Techniques sponge, a lot of the time I was using this for foundation, and this is awesome. I think it's like $7. I think it's like $7. I think it's $6.99. It's the Up and Up brand, so it's from Target, the Target brand, and this is great for foundation. It's very dense, but still soft. It's dense but soft and still like movable. It's not hard and like stiff. And yeah, great for foundation, great for buffing it in. If you have a large face, it's a pretty good size, but it could take a little bit longer to buff it in as opposed to some of like the bigger buffing brushes. But this brush is awesome and super affordable, easy to find at Target, a lot of places. There's a Target everywhere, so find a Target and you can totally get this brush. My other honorable mention is the only brush that I'm talking about that you can't find at the drugstore or at Target or at Walmart or blah, 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 blah. And this is the Morphe E4. Now, I'm talking about it purely because of its shape. I love this for blush. I'm pretty sure, if you watch YouTube, I'm pretty sure the Elite collection was getting discontinued. Like they came out with a new one, or they're coming out with a new one or something. But basically, I only bought this brush because of YouTube. Like, the only reason I have like some Morphe brushes is because of YouTube. If I didn't watch YouTube, I would not have them. So, anyway, I love the shape of this brush. The shape of this brush is perfect for blush. Like awesome. Like awesome. So, I think I've seen other brushes, I couldn't tell you what kind, but more like on other people's YouTube channels, of brushes that are this similar shape. So what I like about this brush the most is the shape for blush. It's just perfect. Like, it applies your blush exactly where you want it to go. It's not too big, it's not too small, it's not too concentrated, it's fluffy so it diffuses it so you don't have a blush stripe. It's great, and that's why I love it. Again, You don't need this brush specifically. You're not going to be able to find it in the store. You will have to order it online if you want it, and you can't even order this one anymore because they discontinued the Elite collection. But if you can find one that is a similar shape, I would recommend getting it. It is perfect for blush. So those are all of my favorite drugstore / one affordable, can't find it in the drugstore brush, but mostly 99% drugstore brushes. The brushes I use all the time. They're the brushes I use every time I do my makeup. If I would recommend brushes to other people, these are the ones that I would tell them to get. But I hope you found this video helpful. Maybe you saw some brushes that you'd like to add to your collection. Again, 99% of them are very easy to find at your local drugstore, Target, Walmart, wherever sells E.L.F. and Real Techniques brushes. But I hope you liked this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye! So basically I'm blind without my glasses, so I hope the glare isn't too distracting.